No matter how hard you work, you won't get rich if you don't change these three perspectives. Today, I want to share a brutal truth with you. The reason you can't make a lot of money might be because your life philosophy is still stuck in the past. That's right. Those old, outdated concepts are silently preventing you from becoming a winner in life. Want to know why? Sit tight, because what comes next might make you uncomfortable or even shocked. But trust me, only when you face these truths can you truly overcome your financial barriers. First, let's look at an unpleasant truth. Your view on socializing might be outdated. Do you remember the saying, "More friends, more paths"? Forget about it. The reality is that people will only help you as much as the benefit you bring to them. This is not an exaggeration, but a bitter reality. I have a friend who used to be a salesperson for an auto parts company. Once, he attended a class reunion and accidentally met his old college roommate, who is now a purchasing manager for a major car manufacturer. Guess what happened? He kept offering drinks and cigarettes to his friend, and the other guy happily said he would introduce his company's products. Sounds like a perfect networking story, right? But wait, the story isn't over yet. After the party, when I went back to the room to get my coat, I saw a heartbreaking scene. My friend's business card was thrown carelessly on the floor. At that moment, I seemed to hear the sound of illusions shattering. It turns out that the connection between friends is not based on affection, but on a naked exchange of benefits. You might say, "But I'm very good at socializing." All right, let me tell you another story. I have a friend who is a writer. When starting his career, just like you, he thought socializing meant attending parties and befriending famous people. Every time he met an influencer in the industry, he eagerly asked for their contact info, hoping they would help promote his work. But what was the result? Most refused to give their info. A few promised to read his work, but never replied. Is this your current situation? But my friend's story didn't stop there. After many rejections, he made a surprising decision. Cut off all social activities, stay at home, and focus on writing. He downloaded famous works from recent years, analyzed every sentence and word, and wrote at least 4,000 words every day. During his writing period, he almost cut off contact with the outside world. Only when he finished his daily work did he go online to read reader comments and edit according to their feedback.
Guess what the result was? In just 2 years, he wrote several best-selling novels that topped the charts. Famous and wealthy writers who were once cold to him started proactively contacting him and inviting him to collaborate. Do you see the difference? While you are still bowing down asking for a phone number, the real winners are silently accumulating strength. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to learn more truths about money and help you quickly achieve financial freedom. The Art of Wealth Fortune, Wealth Tactics, welcomes you all. Remember that social in socializing is not friendship, but exchange. If you have nothing to exchange, even if you get into someone else's circle, you are just a meaningless passerby. So, if you really want to stand out in relationships, stop the meaningless socializing right now. Pour your time and energy into enhancing your own value. When you truly have value, those who ignored you will automatically come looking for you. But why do your networking efforts always fail? Let me tell you a few important reasons. First, you might not have a clear goal. Many people socialize just for the sake of socializing, without a specific goal. They join every party and group, but ultimately just waste time. Remember, every networking event should have a clear goal: learning new knowledge, gathering industry information, or seeking collaboration opportunities. Networking without a goal is like a boat without direction. It will never reach the shore. Second, maybe you don't have unique value. In a social environment, what special value can you provide? If the answer is none, then you are just wasting time. People are willing to connect with you because you bring value to them. That value could be knowledge, resources, opportunities, or even a unique perspective. If you have no special value, why should others remember you? Finally, you might not know how to maintain relationships effectively. It's not just a one-time meeting, but a continuous process. Building an effective social network requires providing value and maintaining contact. So, how do you build a truly effective social network? Keep the following points in mind. First of all, quality is more important than quantity. Don't chase after befriending too many people, but focus on connecting with the right ones. One person who can bring you valuable information or opportunities is more important than 100 people who only know how to say hello. Focus on building a few high-quality relationships instead of a large number of superficial ones.
Second, provide value before asking for help. Before you want to receive help, think about what you can provide to others. That could be information, resources, or even a fresh perspective. When you become a person who brings value, people will naturally want to connect with you. Next, always learn and constantly improve yourself. The best social asset is your ability and knowledge. As you become more excellent, people will be attracted and actively want to establish a relationship with you. Also, learn how to use social platforms, but don't depend on them too much. Social media is a great tool, but truly valuable relationships often require face-to-face meetings. Use social media to maintain contact, but also create opportunities for real-life interactions. Finally, train your listening skills. Many people in networking events are too busy expressing themselves and forget to listen. When you know how to listen, you can understand the needs of others and find opportunities to provide value. Remember that those who are truly good at networking are not the ones who know the most people, but those who can coordinate resources when needed. Through providing value, constantly learning, and having a strategy in relationship building, you can create a truly effective social network. At this point, you might think you understand the problem and are ready to act. But wait, your concept of wealth might also need a comprehensive revolution. Many people hold fast to the notion that hard work will make you rich. You think so too, right? Working late every day, even on weekends without rest, just to earn a little extra money. But I want to tell you a brutal truth. People who are good at making money will try to avoid making money in a miserable way. If you don't believe me, let me tell you a true story. A friend of mine used to work for a foreign trade company. He spent all his time contacting clients, sending hundreds of emails, and making dozens of phone calls every day. Every day, he was so tired that he could fall asleep as soon as he sat down on the subway. You think working that hard means he surely makes a lot of money, right? Wrong. This situation lasted for half a year, until one day he realized he left his phone at the office after work. When he went back to get the phone, he was surprised to see a colleague still sitting there reading paper documents and typing on the computer. What made him more desperate was that this colleague belonged to the average income group in the company. At that moment, he suddenly realized that the company didn't lack employees who worked as hard as him, but lacked those who truly brought profits to the company. This realization completely changed the way he worked. A few days later, he proactively took on the sales task in the South American market, where most other employees avoided because there were very few customers and many large debts. But in just 1 year, he not only recovered millions of dollars in debts, but also developed dozens of stable customers. With just these 2 achievements, he was promoted to sales director with an income surpassing 90% of the company's employees. Do you see the difference yet? While you are still working hard to earn a little extra overtime pay, truly successful people have figured out how to create real value. Remember that behind wealth is always value. A common mistake many people make is doing the same hard work as those around them, but dreaming they will be richer than them. Staying up late? Overworking? Wake up! What you need is not to spend more time, but to completely change your way of working and your mindset. Why does the employee mindset limit your wealth growth? Let me explain a few important reasons. First, employment is a linear income model, while true wealth growth is exponential. The essence of employment is exchanging time for money. You work 8 hours, you get paid for 8 hours. But for entrepreneurs or investors, their income is not limited by time. They can make money even while sleeping. Second, the room for advancement in employment is limited. In most companies, your salary increase has a limit. No matter how much effort you put in, it is hard to surpass your superior salary. These structural limitations make it difficult for you to achieve rapid wealth accumulation. Besides, the employee mindset comes with a fear of risk. You might fear losing a stable job, so you don't dare to try new opportunities. But remember, the biggest risk is not daring to take risks. Finally, working as an employee for a long time can cause you to form a fixed mindset, making it hard to accept new ideas and opportunities. This hinders you from seeing and seizing new money-making opportunities. So how do you overcome the employee mindset and achieve financial freedom? Keep the following in mind. First, build diverse income streams. Don't just rely on salary, but start creating passive income like stock investment, affiliate marketing, or starting a small online business.
Remember that your goal is to let money work for you, not for you to work for money. Second, invest in yourself. The best investment is investing in yourself. Continuously learn new skills to increase your value in the market, especially skills that can generate passive income, such as writing, programming, or video making. Next, find ways to create leverage in your work. Look for tasks that can create a leverage effect. Instead of completing each task manually, find ways to build a system to automate that task, so you can create more value in the same amount of time. Also, cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset. Even if you are still an employee, start thinking like an entrepreneur. How to create more value for the company, not just finishing the assigned work. This mindset not only helps you stand out in your current job, but also prepares you for future entrepreneurship. Finally, we define work. Don't just see work as a way to make money, but treat it as a process of creating value. When you start focusing on creating value, instead of just thinking about making money, you'll find making money becomes easier. Remember that overcoming the employee mindset doesn't mean you have to quit your job immediately to start a business,
but that you need to start thinking about how to create more value in your current job. Find ways for your skills and knowledge to create a greater leverage effect. Only then can you escape the situation of a frog sitting in boiling water and achieve rapid wealth growth. Now you probably think you are sober enough and ready to act, but wait a moment, there is still one final barrier, also the most important one: your perspective on value. Many people have a deeply ingrained notion that they must always seek to maximize personal benefits. This may not seem wrong, but in reality, it could be the biggest obstacle preventing you from making a lot of money. Don't believe it? Let me tell you a true story. A businesswoman, when she first started working, welcomed an international client with a senior colleague in the company. The senior's English was not good, so communication was difficult many times, and she helped resolve the situation. The client was extremely impressed with her and declared that from now on, they only wanted to work directly with her. Sounds like a good opportunity, right? But the story doesn't end there. The fact is, this client had not placed any orders for a whole year since the senior colleague developed the relationship.
But after she took over the job, the client bought products worth millions of dollars. The boss was naturally very happy and decided to share half of the commission from that order with her as a reward. Based on the commission rate, she could receive about 1 billion won. But what happened next surprised everyone. She didn't take a single penny of commission. She left it all to the senior colleague. She even told the boss that the client had been taken care of by the senior before, and she only played the role of completing the final transaction. You might think she is stupid, right? But wait, the story hasn't stopped there. After this incident, the senior often proactively sought her collaboration and introduced his clients to her. Later, when she quit her job and started a business, the resources provided by that senior colleague alone brought her millions of dollars in profit. Do you see the difference? While you are busy worrying about petty benefits, truly capable people have started building strategies to achieve greater success. Famous entrepreneur Anna-Marie Coswo once said, "The most precious value is the heart for others." Altruism. This is not just about noble morality, but also practical commercial wisdom. Relationships between people are reciprocal. No one wants to cooperate with selfish people, nor does anyone like working with people who only calculate every little bit. Benefits should be shared, not kept private. When you let others have a share of the profit, you are actually retaining long-term benefits for yourself. If you are still calculating gains and losses over small, immediate benefits, wake up. You don't need to calculate anymore, but broaden your vision and look further ahead. So, how to change your values and achieve greater success in the marketplace? Here are a few suggestions. First, learn to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Every time you make a decision, try to think from the other person's perspective. This not only helps you better understand their needs, but also opens up more opportunities for collaboration. Second, develop long-term thinking. Don't just look at immediate benefits, but consider long-term benefits. Sometimes short-term concessions can bring huge rewards in the long run. Like the story of the businesswoman above. She gave up $1 billion in commission right then, but eventually received millions of dollars in profit. Third, build trust. In the business world, trust is the most precious asset. When you show yourself to be honest and trustworthy, people will be ready to cooperate with you and give you more opportunities.
And those opportunities are usually much more valuable than short-term benefits. Also, create win-win situations. Don't just think about how to take more from others, but look for ways to create value for both sides. When you create value for others, your own value also increases. Finally, strictly allow yourself to learn and grow. Keep an open mind. Continuously learn new knowledge and accept new perspectives. This not only helps you find more opportunities, but also helps you maintain competitiveness in a rapidly changing business environment. Remember that reinventing your values is not an overnight thing. It takes time, and sometimes you even have to go through a few failures. But only when you overcome this process
can you truly break your limits and reach a new height. Now, you know the invisible barriers preventing you from making a lot of money, and you also know how to overcome them to reshape your life perspective. But knowing these things is not enough. Real change requires you to act immediately. Start by reviewing your network of relationships, changing the way you work, and adjusting your value system. Don't let yourself get caught up in worthless things. Devote all your energy to things that are truly meaningful. And finally, I have to remind you of one important thing. Effort lies not in trying harder at trivial things, but in focusing on things of true value. An entrepreneur friend of mine, when he was young working in the city, once ate at a street stall and was accused by the owner of underpaying by $1 million. As a result, he fought with the owner and 4 or 5 staff members there, eventually had to go to the hospital for 18 stitches, and was fined $3 million for disturbing the peace. You think he won? Wrong. He lost miserably. Not only was he injured and had to pay compensation, but he also wasted precious time and energy. But the story isn't over. Years later, this friend became the owner of a publicly listed company. Once he ate at a luxury restaurant and was misunderstood as not having paid. Guess what he did? He just apologized, paid again, and quickly left. Why such a big change? He later shared, "It's not that I no longer care about money, but because for me before, $1 million was equivalent to a day's work. But now, the time I spend arguing is enough to earn many more meals." Do you see the difference?
Successful people are not only because they know how to make money, but also because they know how to avoid wasting time and energy on unworthy things. So remember, the wisest way for an adult to live is to work hard at making money, but let go of meaningless things. Don't waste your precious time on meaningless arguments, comparisons, or complaints. Those things not only don't solve the problem, but also drain your energy and hinder your progress. Conversely, spend that time and energy improving yourself and creating value. Only by doing so can you truly stand out in the fierce competition and achieve your financial dreams. Remember that change is painful. You may lose some friends, face misunderstanding from colleagues, or even encounter temporary failure. But trust me, all of that is worth it. Because only by going through these things can you truly overcome your own limits and achieve a quantum leap. Someone once said, wealth accumulation is not a linear process. Many people only really start making money after going through certain events. Those things could be working hard but being fired without cause, or working day and night but failing in business. But the greatest significance of those experiences is to shatter a person's old outlook on life. No destruction, no construction. Only when experiencing the pain of the collapse of old concepts can you achieve transformation and advancement. So don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of failure, because these are the mandatory paths for you to proceed to success. Dear friend, now you know the invisible barriers preventing you from making a lot of money, and you also know how to overcome them to restructure your outlook on life. But just knowing that is not enough. Real change requires you to act immediately. Remember that this world will never betray those who dare to change and constantly improve. Your future is in your hands. From now on, review your network, change the way you work, and adjust your life values. Don't get caught up in meaningless things. Devote all your energy to things of true value. Trust me, when you truly do this, you will realize that the dream of wealth that previously seemed unattainable is actually not too far away. Finally, to summarize today's content, the winner in life is not the one who always seeks not to waste even a little effort on past things, but the one who pours all their strength when it's time to fight. Now is the time to act. Start creating your own legend. Remember that time will always be there, but opportunities to make money wait for no one. Years later, you will forget all the unhappy stories, but you will be grateful to yourself for working hard, tirelessly. Wishing you smooth sailing on the path to seeking wealth. Thank you for watching today's content. If you find my content valuable, don't forget to share it with friends and family. Follow me to know more about the secrets of money. Goodbye, and see you again.